Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you a couple observations I've made while using this longitudinal control that is entirely camera based. I'm assuming some of what I'm seeing has to do with the fact that this isn't using radar at all, but I don't know. What I've noticed is that the following distance is kind of ridiculous. I'm sure that's adjustable. I just haven't gotten around to trying to adjust it yet. But I've encountered instances where it wants to hang back so far that everybody's passing me and getting in front of me. So I have to take over the gas. Right now, I can still do that because I don't have it disengaging when you push the gas, which has been quite handy. In fact, but obviously, what I implement is going to meet the standards of comma because we want this to get upstreamed. That's our goal here. So we're coming up on a car. Let's see when it starts slowing down, because it seems to be particularly noticeable, like when I'm passing and then there's a car in the left lane. Now it's starting to slow down. So technically speaking, it's a very safe following distance, but it also opens you up to being taken advantage of quite a bit. Another thing you might want to see, just for giggles, is how hard it'll brake. I'm gonna get right up behind this guy and then pull behind him and then watch. Let us both watch. Here we go. All the way down. Pretty nice. Yesterday, I did finally allow it under natural circumstances to, like in traffic, to bring me to a complete stop. It was not easy for me to fight the urge to hit the gas pedal, or brake pedal rather, but it stopped the car without my help. It came up on a stopped car and it was able to bring the car to a stop without hitting the car. So yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I wish I'd caught it on video. Maybe I'll try to do it again. But the point is, it worked, and I still haven't tuned I haven't tuned the longitudinal very much, just a tiny little bit, and it's working remarkably well. Here we are. This guy's slowing down, so we're slowing down too. This is the part. He starts speeding up, and I'm just hanging back. You see, I'm getting passed by a semi now. It's quite a distance to that car in front of me, so I have on numerous occasions had to jump in and assist. Just so people aren't thinking I'm hanging back. And getting honked at. I've gotten honked at for it too. So yeah, it's something I need to adjust. Another observation that I'm kind of excited about is that it does actually slow you down as you approach a curve. I didn't know that the stock Open Pilot did that. I thought that was a Kegman feature, or other unnamed branches. But it's not perfect, but as you are approaching a turn that I'm guessing it thinks it might have some trouble with, it slows you down a little. And that's pretty awesome. Because normally it would be freaking out and, doing crazy stuff with the steering wheel. But instead it slows down, it takes it real smooth. Open Pilot works better when it has control of both the gas and the steering. Several people have asked and pointed out that if they go on Comma.ai's website, they don't see the Bolt listed as supported. Well, it's not. I guess that's what happens when I hit the brakes right now. Probably didn't need to, but force of habit. I would rather be hitting the brakes than not hitting the brakes and slamming into another car, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I've noticed some other kind of nice things that, yes, you shouldn't be distracted while you're driving. While you're using this, first of all, you shouldn't be using it, and I am not endorsing the use of it, but, if you are using it, you should be paying attention at all times. You should consider it more like you have a little artificial intelligence driver that you need to babysit, because every once in a while he decides to just start taking exits for no apparent reason. It's not perfect. You gotta keep an eye on it. But what I've also noticed is there have been a couple times where I have been distracted inappropriately, I know, but it saved my butt. I was distracted, and if I hadn't been paying attention, or I should say if I didn't have Open Pilot, I would have probably slammed into the car in front of me. And if I just had the safety measures built into the car, it would have waited until I was a foot away to slam on the brakes and freak everybody out. So Open Pilot has already proven to be not just we'll call it a luxury, but a safety benefit. So, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. The other thing people probably are interested in is when I'm going to start shipping out the pedals that have been purchased. Well, I finally got started building them yesterday, actually. And between yesterday and today, I've done the surface mount work on 2 of them. I had to do some rework. I built a little jig to help me with the applying the solder paste. I have a stencil, but my stencil was not being held flat to the board, so the paste was being applied incorrectly. Now I've got this little jig that I put it in, and I cut the stencil so it fits on the jig. I can just tape it on there. Works like butter. It's like putting butter on bread or something. It's easier than putting butter on bread. So I've got that. I was able to get one completely assembled today. I want to say it was not completely assembled. I'm just doing the surface mount part. The through hole stuff, I'm gonna do that, break out the soldering iron and do those in a batch. But it's not taking as long as it. Every time I do it, I get quicker and quicker. Every time I do it, I make fewer and fewer mistakes. So this last one that I did, I didn't have any tombstoning on any of my capacitors or resistors. That was a happy thing. And I only had I had a short on one chip that always gets shorts. It's a pain. The CAN bus controller chip is a real pain in the butt. But I got that resolved. Hopefully, I'll be obviously testing all these boards before they go anywhere. But things are progressing, not as quickly as I would have liked, but they're getting built. I did have to purchase some thinner diameter wire. The wire that I had is just too hard to get on the board. I mean, I was having to fight with it, so I went from 18 gauge to 20 gauge, and I think that's going to be the sweet spot for the wire diameter. I had to order some more parts for the the female terminals, and I am going to still try to 3D print the male part. I have purchased some pins, some crimp pins that have a spring retainer, and I'm going to attempt to manufacture them rather than ordering them from AliExpress. I don't like being dependent on AliExpress for this stuff, and if I have like 2 of the male parts left, and then it would be 3 weeks minimum. So I've been putting some effort into that, and when I actually get the pins here, I can really start trying to model out the cavity into which the terminals will sit and then stay. If I can get that working, that's gonna simplify things, definitely. Also, so far, as far as GM cars go, I've only encountered 2 different varieties of throttle position sensor connectors. There's the kind that the Bolt has, and then there's the kind that the Volt has. And another car, it's not the Malibu, or maybe it's the I don't know. Oh, I've got them listed out, which ones are which. So once again, the standards for these things are open standards for the male component. But if you want to make a connector, you have to design the part that retains the pins. So I maybe, if I'm lucky, the male connectors for the Volt version are actually available in the US, and then I'll just do that. But if they're also only available on AliExpress, I will probably end up designing my own, I'm gonna guess. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't think it's gonna be that hard. Actually, it's kind of fun, designing something, using my 3D printer for the reason I bought it. This is why I bought it. I bought it to make automotive connectors, and that's what I'm doing, so that feels pretty good. So, anywho, I'm having a little issue with my 3D printer. If anyone has some advice on that, that would be helpful. It's an Elegoo Mars resin printer. I swear when I first got it, the side, like the sides of things were smooth. They are now very rough. If I were to try to print a cube, the bottom would be nice and smooth, the top would be nice and smooth, but all the sides, I'm not sure if it's all 4 sides, but they're just real rough. I don't know, I don't understand why. Maybe I just need to I don't know if it's calibrate is the term, the bed. I haven't recalibrated it in quite a while. I know that my printer is not sitting level to ground, but in the manual didn't say that it needed to. But maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I could certainly get some shims and level that up if that would help. So what I'm going to try is redoing the calibration where you pushed it all the way down to the bottom and you undo the screws and then push and then retighten them. I'm going to try doing that again, see if that helps. If that doesn't help, I will try to level it to ground with some shims. If that doesn't work, then I'll contact tech support, probably. Or if any of you guys have any experience with these things, if what I'm explaining sounds familiar and you know what I need to do to fix it, feel free to send me a comment. I would appreciate that. So anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys' support, especially grateful to my Patreon supporters who are making this all possible. I could not do it without you guys. I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful for you guys who are just watching too. If you decide that you want to help support, become a Patreon supporter. It's patreon.com/boltopenpilot. Otherwise, well, have a good day. Thanks for watching.